Absolutely, yeah. Nepal is the map that was predetermined for now, so we're switching up a little bit here for the control section. We're going to be going into the first stage, which is going to be Sanctum. And early on, Team Gigantti seemed to be opting for very much a dive composition, not what I was expecting. Just shows you how much I know about Analysts and Overwatch, but goodness me, eUnited, no surprises where they lie. They're going to be running the triple DPS, which they are very comfortable with.
The soul of a Reinhardt beats within that scientist. Have no fear. He just wants to hold a hammer at some point, but instead, he will hold some electricity. But both teams right now getting out here in short order. It will be dive versus dive, but eUnited, they're definitely very good in this style of play.
What a matchup as well, Davin versus Valetaja. Could you ask for a better Tracer v Tracer matchup here? Two phenomenal players just battling and butting heads, I should say, between each other. Now, the point is still waiting to be unlocked as it stands. Very passive plays as it stands. Cruz eating a bit of damage. Ooh, in a bit of a danger zone, but no, he is safe.
Cruz is not taking a whole lot of chances there, just wanted to get early poke, but once the attention turned to him, he got out. eUnited playing the slow and steady, but Shaz, with the pickoff from afar, now gives Team Gigantti a big edge, and this is where they can really look to move in a little bit more aggressively.
Absolutely, that initial pick really does set up every single fight. If you get a first engagement, it's almost always going to be a one fight for your team, because you can just play off that player advantage to 6v5. For now though, Lynx are also just cementing it as Cruz will fall into the back lines, and Gigantti now just opting for a bit of a, basically playing around the point, quite passive again still, and eUnited just trying to recuperate their losses and regroup here for the next push.
Well, what you're seeing here is Boombox's patented search for pickoffs. Doesn't quite get it here, but eUnited, they don't waste much time. They go in, and here we go, into the backline. Tracer versus Zenyatta, but Valetaja has Boombox's back, and he has Davin's back as well, just not in the good way, as Davin under fire from all directions. A bloodthirsty Zenyatta to one side, Valetaja to his other, and yet he's able to stay alive and shake some of this pressure, but not for long, as Morte, they finally call in a third person to take him down.
They do get a few picks off the back of that, but can't be understated how much time Davin just bought for his team there. They got some crucial percentage points off, and the Transcendence, I believe, not quite used just yet. They're still holding on to one side is Shaz. Boombox with the initial pick, or I say the final pick there of the Fraggy will again get this recap underway for eUnited. They definitely have ults to use as well, Ziku.
Oh, no doubt about it. And of course, one of the highlights of Overwatch World Cup was watching Cruz really be patient with his Dragon Blades and find good ways of going in. So eUnited, they're going to bend back a bit here, but you have to think Cruz is looking for his opportunity in, even though he might be a little bit sad that Christopher is no longer with him.
What is cap time coming off already? Morte falls before he can get off the sound barrier. I think that's what they were intending whatsoever. And no kills getting popped off here for them. Boombox will use his Transcendence to try and get a bit of aggression going for them. What a cap time. Gigantti almost had it, but it just got brought back from the forward aggression that eUnited decided to go in with. But look at these picks. It's looking so good.
eUnited went in way too deep there, and Gigantti there to punish. And this is surprising here so far, as Davin just domes Cruz. Cruz blinked, and you would have missed him falling right then and there. So now Gigantti, they have great ultimates in reserve, and they have a progress advantage.
Yeah, massive amounts of ults to use here on their side. Linkser is going to probably be the man to watch of his own Dragon Blade. Let's see if he can pick up any players, even if he trades out evenly, getting the sound barrier popped off earlier than they were anticipating, but Morte chooses to do it and go in earlier.
Barrier is in here for eUnited, and it's a nice opening here so far. Linkser tries to bring it back, but can't. Unfixed treats him to a point-blank rocket. And in case you're wondering what Zappis is, he's just passed out outside.
Yeah. This is now going to be, again, a hold for eUnited, but they do have quite a significant percentage disadvantage when it comes to the amount of cap time they've got on the point. Ults on the side of eUnited to really defend this one with.
Well, it is a one-fight margin right now. Gigantti, they're going to go right in. They get Boombox immediately. A huge pickoff, but Cruz, the equalizer, into the back, takes down Chaz. Looking for more, just being patient with this blade, and he gets his men. eUnited now holding on with the progress on the point. It's 70% to 88, and now it's eUnited, one fight away from securing this round.
And they're in a very, very solid position to be winning this next engagement. You know, I don't have to tell you guys, you can just look to the top of the screen and see it. The ultimates are online for eUnited. Team Gigantti only have Davin and a Dream with that one pulse bomb to work with. Are they going to get the initial pick? Yes, they do. Boombox falls.
Boombox, a taste of his own medicine, and it is bitter indeed. eUnited gonna have to bring this back. Valtaya, though, a nice pick up to open this, and here comes Unfixed. The visor is out. He has people in his sights, but all he sees is Zenyatta zooming right towards him, keeping his prey alive. Gigantti in a great position here, and eUnited, we'll see how they handle this, but they will almost certainly tend to have to go for reset. But Gigantti, they have to stand the point. They almost don't. Now they get back on just in time.
Almost a little bit too close for comfort. They do get the flip over. And what players are here from eUnited to try and contest this? The players are starting to respawn, but is it going to be enough? Only 5% left until Team Gigantti going to be claiming round number 1. Are they going to be able to get on in for the overtime ZP? Now is the time to strike eUnited. They have to do it.
They barely got on just in time. Boombox now for Transcendence. eUnited not gone here yet. Shriek though under fire. Gets taken down. Zappis. Plenty of targets available for him here. Throws in the Helix rocket and Cruz. No way of living there. Too much pressure as Gigantti clean out eUnited and take round number 1.
I don't think anyone could have predicted that, going in that direction at least. Team Gigantti running dive composition and actually outmaneuvering eUnited. Who could have foreseen that?
Not many people, especially given the part where eUnited has been one of the most consistent teams in Overwatch history, period. Even when they've been on the decline, for the most part, their decline is being second best in the region. There was a small period where it was a little bit worse than that, but given the fact that they are the defending champions, that was a tough round to open up for them. But one thing that defines a champion, Bren, is that champions bounce right back.
Indeed, but this is interesting indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be seeing the Fraggy Reinhardt, Zappis on the Zara as well. This is it. Traditional tanks coming out to play, and they're running it against Dive. I mean, do you agree with this when you're not running it along the Doomfist?
We'll see. I think it's interesting, and Fraggy certainly loves being on the Reinhardt. And also, the way that this particular stage is constructed here in Nepal, there's very good areas for Reinhardt to hold his shield and control space. So I don't necessarily dislike it, given Gigantti's strengths. We'll see if it works out, though. eUnited does seem a little bit mystified here early on. They're giving Gigantti a lot of room.
Absolutely. If you're not aware, Zyra recently had a few changes, which means that the Graviton Surge now can't actually be escaped by a lot of the abilities that are on the side of eUnited. So he is quite a bit more effective against the dive compositions, but are they going to be able to find it? Shaz is eating so much damage. Fraggy just bringing the aggression straight to them, trading out evenly. But meanwhile, while they were focusing onto Shaz, eUnited have definitely stricken into the back lines and brought down the follower players.
Cruz isolating out Big Goose for that one-on-one there to the side. And eUnited, I like the patience they displayed in dealing with that, where they didn't just dive into a tank-heavy setup. They worked the outskirts. They let Cruz look for an opportunity while Valtaya was poking from the other side, and eventually Gigantti ended up breaking.
Here we have it, now rotating around. Gigantti starting to work their way onto the point. Fraggy's shield going to be providing the protection. Davin has the pulse bomb. Doesn't want to unleash it just yet. Still waiting. Meanwhile, Cruz with the Dragon Blade will collect one. But is it going to be enough for them?
Well, he wasn't going to catch him with the blade, but he catches him with the deflect. A nice deflect by Cruz there towards the end, and yet it's very even. Fraggy getting his pound of flesh on that Reinhardt. Gigantti not out of this fight here yet, but I don't know if they have the personnel to really retake this, especially as eUnited respawns to come back in.
Indeed, they're still trying to fight their way through this, but eUnited in control of the point, as you mentioned. Still, Gigantti have ults to use. They've got both their support ults if they want to try and initiate with one of them. Definitely wouldn't fault them for it. Let's see what they can do now, ZP, as they're moving in.
They are moving in. eUnited flexing back a little bit. They don't have a whole lot of ult in reserve. Meanwhile, Gigantti, they have everything up. Cruz, though, finding Chaz early on, makes this a 5-on-5, but here comes Gigantti. They're going to drop the beat. They must be all in on this push, and yet Cruz is still keeping eUnited alive.
Zappis still has this Graviton Surge. Does end up opting to use it. The Self-Destruct is going to try and bring him down with a sand barrier to counteract that. Still, a lot of damage being done. Now the Earth Shatter by Fraggy just getting tossed around like a ragdoll right now onto the point by the Primal Rage being used. My God, there's still no cupping this CP.
Have you ever seen a burly German man get removed from a point so forcibly is the real question there. Winston really has a bone to pick with Ryan. However, Gigantti, they invested a heavy toll into taking the point, but they are successful at the very end.
Absolutely, but they've got a big hill to climb. Here's that replay. You can see the post bomb by Davin laid in tons of damage, but it did lead for them to follow it up with the kills. Now, get back into the game itself, we can start to see Gigantti looking for opportunities.
Gigantti right now, they just need to hold their ground. They don't have much of a margin for error. eUnited on the way in. The pulse bomb is in, doesn't quite get the kill immediately.
Nice
Lynx
barrier.
are able to take down Sharik, so you see Gigantti pulling back, but very successfully. eUnited, they know they've dug too deep, and now they go mountain climbing. Away.
Indeed, yes. That's the failed pulse bomb there. Valitaja tried to get it, but unfortunately picked the wrong target. Zappis just ended up having his own little shield to pop up around him, and completely immune to the burst damage from it. And I see Gigantti just trying to hold on here. Now, they don't have a huge degree of ultimates to use, CP, to try and defend this with. eUnited really, realistically, should be winning this next engagement with the Dragon Blade and the Transcendence.
Cruz and Boombox can connect like it's the Overwatch World Cup here all over again. Dragon Blade and Transcendence should be the method of the day. There's the Transcendence, and here's the Blade, and Cruz shut down the Helix rocket right to the head. There will be no Blade this time, and that could be huge for Gigantti in holding this round and potentially taking the map.
Oh, this is fantastic for them, because now they have an opportunity to build up these ults, which you can see. You can look at the top of the screen, you can see they're finding them time and time again. Now, Fraggy also has the Earth Shatter alongside it, and if they stagger this this next fight out long enough, potentially even Zappis, if he's good enough, will be able to bring up a Graviton Surge in time. And eUnited realize the jig is up. They got to reset, they got to get back in, otherwise they're going to potentially lose another round, and potentially the map.
And this is so big right now. Fraggy, known for huge Earth Shatters, gets one right there. Finds Sharik early on, the bomb to finish him off. eUnited was trying to creep away from the side, and it's not gonna happen. Lynx are with the tack visor, aided by the barrier. So much zone control here, easily takes down Cruz, and Gigantti might have upset the Giants here as eUnited on the verge of losing map number 1.
I don't believe what I'm seeing here, ZP. Shark tries to defend it in the final moments with the Primal Rage, but it's futile at the end of the day. Gigantti have all the players, all the time as it ticks down in the final moments. Look at that Graviton, just a cherry on the top, and map number 1 will be going to Gigantti.
And they did it with Reinhardt Zarya.
Yes.
So we were speculating, will we see Fraggy go back to his first love? And we did. We saw him on the Reinhardt, though he swapped off towards the end. His final Earth Shatter, definitely a big part of Gigantti sealing that one out.
Really, actually a magical performance by Gigantti. I gotta say, like I said before this game began, nobody was expecting him to take that first round and to actually take a map away from the previous defending champions of Contenders Season 0. It's a huge milestone for them.
No doubt about it. And also, let's give props to Lynxer there towards the very end of that, where he read Cruz like a book. Cruz walks in, and it's like a bad bar joke where you walk in, there's a Helix rocket, it goes to your face. Well, there was no good Dragon Blade there, even with Boombox's support. So big stuff coming up from Gigantti, and what a way to make a name for yourselves starting out here in Season 1.
Absolutely, just dethroning them. Well, not quite dethroning them. The season's not over yet. We're not on week 6 just yet, but that is a massive upset in itself. And very curious as we head into the next map. What will it be that they're going to be choosing the map to pick? And it is eUnited's map pick. So very surprising. I mean, what was your thoughts on the performance themselves of eUnited then coming into that? Was that less so? Was it just Gigantti playing phenomenally better? Or was it actually a fact that eUnited were maybe a little bit sloppy?
I think definitely they did come in a little bit sloppier, where you stop and think about practice time. Cruz was at the Overwatch World Cup. He wasn't able to practice with eUnited as much in the lead up to this. However, if I had to pick on someone that generally is very explosive for eUnited but had somewhat of a more quiet day, I think Valitaja did not quite have the day that we're used to seeing him having, where it's usually we see Valitaja getting pickoff after pickoff, setting Cruz up for those team fight winning Dragon Blades. And it felt like there wasn't quite the same level of contribution that there always was. And that's something eUnited is going to have to adapt around if that remains the case going forward.
Absolutely, right. Well, I believe the next map we're going to be seeing is Numbani. Is that correct? It is indeed.
I believe that is correct.
Numbani will be the pick for eUnited, a map. Traditionally, they seem to have quite decent results on it in terms of the hybrid maps. Out of all the hybrid maps, is their map pick. You know, they are going to be quite happy on that one. And it does leave a lot of room, I guess, for tanks as well, however, for Gigantti, especially in the final section of Numbani.
Well, the interesting thing about Numbani is, you sort of touched on it there, but it's very true, is that you think about eUnited as a squad. Their core has been together longer than almost any other team in Overwatch, but the other thing that's very old and ancient in Overwatch is their preference towards Numbani. And all of their different incarnations, they've been comfortable on the map throughout all sorts of different metas. So the fact that we'd have eUnited here in 2017 bring us to Numbani, it shouldn't be that big of a surprise.
Absolutely. Well, It's now a lot to prove if you're eUnited. I mean, coming off the back of that, do you think part of it could have been the fact that they were underestimating Gigantti to a degree? eUnited, you know, they're obviously the top dogs in Europe right now, but, you know, losing that first map, that's got to do something to your mental psyche to a degree.
There's no doubt about it. And the other thing, too, is that we were talking about Voltalia coming out with a little bit of a weaker game. Boombox was getting a taste of his own medicine where there are multiple elements there, and when you had these Zenyatta v Zenyatta matchups where Shaz would actually catch the better of Boombox. And overall, you weren't seeing quite as many early fights won by Boombox taking someone down early on and just making that fight so much easier for eUnited. So across the board, I think it's safe to say eUnited was definitely underperforming a bit.
That is an undertalked aspect, I think, of eUnited as well as a team, because Boombox has a wonderful impact, in fact, in their dominance. To be honest, he's a huge part of why they are so successful. Time and time again, I mean, I'm sure there's statistics out there, but Boombox, he often just gets that first initial pick, fully charging up the orbs, unleashing them across the map and finding the opening for his team. And Boombox, I mean, it's hard to say because I'm so used to him actually just dominating in his role of Zenyatta, but he was really struggling to find picks.
Bad museum experience.
The thing about it is that there is a lot of tape out here on eUnited, and certainly about what to expect going against Boombox. And I think you're going to hit a point where, as good as Boombox is, players are going to be respecting their corners a little bit more, waiting to see some Zed orbs fly by before peeking, because that's where Boombox generally makes his money. And it was a low paycheck indeed on the last map.
Hey there.
Well, look at this. Now we're going to see offensive Sombra by Unfixed. Not something particularly new from them, but it is very powerful indeed for taking his first checkpoint as a large Mega Health Pack just in this lower streets phase. They can fully abuse, try and build up the EMPs nice and quick.
But when you're running two supports and a Sombra, it really puts a lot of pressure on your DPS players and your one tank. And so far, eUnited hasn't really been able to break through. They are waiting to build up that EMP, but with Blink Cruz able to get to the backline, Cruz is making his own opportunities. eUnited now has a way through.
Absolutely. Davin tries to get the kill into the backlines there onto Boombox, but forced to recall himself away. Cruz also getting that D-mech. Imperative kills coming in for him right now. EMP is ready for Unfixed as well. Do they even need to use this in this section? I mean, the players are trying to come in, but they're just getting absolutely slammed in the corridors.
Slammed is putting it lightly right now. eUnited in front control. They have an EMP up, but they shouldn't need the pop in here to secure this out. But actually, they go for it anyways. Why not be sure? They will use that. Fraggy, the main victim, as eUnited rolls right forward and gets that payload in the way. And Bren, I gotta say here, my headcanon for this is that Cruz got a message from Christopher saying, "Stop mourning me, I'm already dead." And Cruz says, "Okay, I will play without you now."
The true bromance there of the Overwatch World Cup, wasn't it? Cruz and Christopher. Dynamic duo there. Banter, Lanimals, as I believe they called themselves in the post-game interviews. Fantastic phrase, Lanimals. But I'm actually quite surprised. Unfixed sticking to this Sombra. There are a lot of health packs to abuse and build up that EMP quite quickly. But again, like you mentioned, they're lacking a substantial amount of DPS as a result of it. But who needs DPS when Boombox is there to get the entry kills regardless?
And that's what eUnited was not getting as much of in the last round. But now they have momentum. Boombox striking deeply, and even though they are only running, or they're running effectively a 3 support set with the Sombra, it's fine. Voltalia unleashed into the back, getting what he needs, and oh, that's not what he needed. That was some bad medicine.
He wasn't well expecting that, was he? He's like, yes, I've got it. He's beefed it. He's beefed the sleep dart. Going in, fire grenade. I'm down and out. But goodness me, Boombox just doing Boombox things, charging up the orbs, trying to get those pre-fires. If you look at Boombox's POV, that is pretty much all he does. And he finds the kills as predictions, but a lot of ults now. You see the EMP, Cruz the Dragon Blade as well as EP, and I mean, Gigantti, are they even going to be able to contest this?
This is where you could have poetry in motion. An EMP to a Dragon Blade, Unfixed, looking for his opportunity. He's stealthing in. Self-destruct to the back, doesn't connect. Boombox out of the fight though, and so is Cruz. And that means that the self-destruct bought Gigantti enough time. They will be solidifying. And if there would be an EMP Dragon Blade bromance, they'll have to wait until the next fight.
Well, Gigantti actually traded a lot of ultimates to try and win that one out. Linksa ended up using Attack Visor. I believe the self-destruct by Zappis as well to force the positioning of eUnited. And now they're in a very good position to try and retake this one with the EMP, with the Dragon Blade. But just before that, we're going to start to see this pulse bomb by Davin, the replay. Didn't quite get the stick, I think it was against the walls, but ZP, what's going on?
We got pickoff here. Voltalia found Fraggy early on. Here comes Unfixed over the top with Cruz. It's 2 early pickoffs from eUnited, and this could be big for their ultimate economy game. Now, they can save those ultimates perhaps for the final point, as they will just dash away the victory here on point 2.
Yeah, last-ditch effort there by Big Goose to try and just delay the point to a certain degree. As you mentioned, this is going to be big now for them. They've got a huge amount of ults to work with. The Transcendent's almost going to be online for Boombox as well, so they can have these 2 defensive support ults to use, whereas Gigantti is just holding on to only the sound barriers. Shaz is just really, I believe, he recently just switched to the Zen. He was on the Ana before.
Gigantti right now, they're hearing Kenny Loggins because they are in the danger zone. Here comes Unfixed into the back. The sound barrier opening up for eUnited. They're holding to the EMP and the Blade here so far, and they're taking it slow. They just back off and use the support ultimate to win this fight. Their big cannons are still on deck.
It's crazy how just the presence of a Sombra player with EMP can just win you a fight alone, because Team Gigantti was so hesitant to use their sound barrier. Big Goose was just holding onto it, holding onto it. And in the end, it did lose them that initial engagement because he was scared of the EMP coming in from Unfixed.
And now Unfixed setting up. We've been waiting for it now for about 2 minutes. eUnited hasn't needed to use it here, Bren, but this combo very well could be underway. There's the sound barrier and the EMP in response.
There we have it. Now the Transcendent is going to be popped off as well. Trying to move in. Dragon Blade coming out here by Cruz. Seeing if he can find any targets. Strike not quite finding it, not quite collecting it, but it does enough to try and prevail and push them back off the point. The cap time is coming in. Big Goose will fall, and this card is showing no signs of slowing down at all, ZP.
Worth the wait. It works out for eUnited, and now they're 2 meters away from their final destination. Gigantti under pressure right now to try and buy themselves some valuable time. They will come out the Transcendence, and this is going to force eUnited back just a bit.
It will indeed. Cruz gets that pick off onto Fraggy. Gigantti still holding on as Shaz used the Transcendence to just keep themselves alive for the time being, but they still want to work their way into this. Linkser using the Dragon Blade, but he's not finding the targets. Montage just far too speedy, but I spoke too soon. The man is on a mad one. He picks up a triple kill and sets his team up for the defense.
Very good stuff here from Gigantti. Now the respawns are coming in. And let's not forget, Bren, we barely had time to set it up because of how good eUnited was doing, but getting through last point on Numbani is a slog. There's numerous defender advantages here, both in positioning and respawn time. And though Linkser was able to blade out here to secure this, the bigger benefit here is how Gigantti now gets much better positioning for dealing with eUnited as they come in.
Here we have it, eUnited. Still looking for an opportunity to work their way in. Self-destruct though, that's a bit of a usage there by Gigantti. Davin, however, makes his moves, and the pulse bomb with the follow-on to Cruz. The damage is definitely done. Unfixed uses the EMP, but there's so many picks already gone into the favor of Gigantti, it's pretty much just wasted.
Well, Davin was making moves, and Boombox could only swoon there, Bren, as he falls early onto that pulse bomb, and Gigantti now finding their footing. eUnited down to 1:30 remaining here as they try to find a way through.
Here we see it's the replay here of Davin's pulse from the thing that really just set them up there. Again, wonderful stuff. Team Gigantti trying to defend this one out, but back into the game. We're seeing an alternative strategy here. eUnited just splitting up to a degree, taking different positions on the final point of Numbani, looking for maybe a split maneuver as they try and work their way in.
Voltalia right now is getting deep into the backline. Finds his one-on-one versus Davin. Rewinds will be expended, but Voltalia now is back out, and Boombox goes down. He's not able to transcend, and this could be huge for Gigantti.
They need to back off.
They're pushing eUnited back. eUnited cannot commit to this push any longer.
They need to save this. Yeah, here we go. They're finally going to be resetting because luckily they do manage to reset in time to get one final push in. 40 seconds remaining here, ZP. Ultimates across the board for both these teams. It's going to be an absolute slobber knocker in the final moments for Numbani.
Slobber knocker, whatever you want to call it here, it will be chaos as eUnited now moving their way in. Boombox with the Transcendence and Morta with the sound barrier. They have options available here, and now they break it down. The eUnited engagement is underway, and it's going to cause the counter support ultimates from Gigantti.
Absolutely. A lot of defensive support ults being used by both these sides just to try and stay themselves alive. Target's still going to be holding on, but now it's the Dragon Blade used by Linkser. Looking for the targets, does collect one with the switch strikes as well, put in place. He's doing the damage with the rest of his team. Valutaja tries to even it out with the pulse bomb, but it's too little, too late, as it will be the overtime ticking down. Valu, the last man to try and contest this point up for them, is doing a standard job for now, but is it going to be enough?
We are in overtime. eUnited is fighting, but for how long? Overtime tick-tocking down, and that is Gigantti coming back out with an enormous defense on last, and they prevent eUnited from getting the prize that they so desperately sought.
If Gigantti end up taking this map as well, this is going to be a ridiculous upset, because eUnited coming into this entire tournament as the favorites. Gigantti not really having much luck in recent tournament days, at least when they were back with the Ninjas in Pajamas lineup. With these mix-ups now, with the changes, they've got Linkser, they've got Shaz, they've got Big Goose. You know, we're starting to see a few things mixing up for them, and now things are definitely piecing together. This is a completely different team than what we've seen in the past.
It's certainly evolved from their previous incarnations as RIP or NIP. That much is for sure. And let's not forget, this is eUnited's home ground. What you don't know when you see the poster saying Lucio in concert is that his opening act is an ode to eUnited. eUnited owns this map, but right now, Gigantti is not buying into that narrative. They are bringing things back, and if they are able to have a better attack than eUnited here, they would take this map away and open up Contenders Season 1 as 2-0.
Honestly, a phenomenal game. I mean, that previous game didn't go any way as I'd expected between Misfits and Cloud9. And if this one goes the way of Gigantti as well, then I just don't know what to think. I mean, it's literally absolutely mental. But this is kind of what we expected in a way from Contenders, because we didn't know what was going to happen with these meta mix-up, with these changes.
Well, think about what we saw there in terms of matchups, right? Where Valutaja was getting checked by Davin. I wouldn't say that one was necessarily outright dominating the other, but Valutaja did not have the room to work with that he's accustomed to. We saw on that final push where he was trying to flank to the backside, and he gets pressured out by Davin. They trade out rewinds, but as a Tracer, once you've used that first rewind in the offense and you've used blinks, you have to get out. You can't really go full in. So Davin was very much making Valutaja's life very rough, and across the board, Gigantti has been playing great.
Composition-wise, nothing out of the ordinary. Gigantti now on the attack, and they're going to be running again. It's a traditional 2-2-2 dive composition, as you're probably all well aware of. But eUnited going to be sticking to their triple DPS. See if they manage to find an opening, try and defend at least their title for the time being. Still, Boombox trying to go for those pre-fires around the corner with the orbs, but Gigantti respecting that.
Boombox under pressure here early on, able to try and shake it out, has his teammates come in, and it's not enough. Linkser will not be denied, hungry for that dive. He does pay for it with his life, but Boombox is out of this fight. I just don't know if it's going to be enough, though. It's unfixed, coming alive here in this fight.
Very smart by eUnited there. Basically just sacrificing Boombox. Gave him the speed boost, they tried to peel for him, but they basically sacrificed him. And instead of trying to focus on saving him, just focus the backlines of Gigantti themselves, and they have won the fight off the back of it. Not even letting Team Gigantti even get a single tick on the board. So, quite a nice, well-executed fight there by eUnited.
eUnited, of course, if they can hold on to point A with 3 minutes left remaining, that would be all they would need to take this map and even things up. Shriek, right now, clearing out space is defensive Winston. Gigantti looking for a way, and his Linkser again, targeting supports, trying to get to the back. But Gigantti, they simply flex back a little bit. It's not enough, though. It's unfixed with the attack visor. Gets 2, now 3.
This is a very even fight indeed. They're trying to get out as it stands. Fraggy is finding the picks as well. Linkser now with the reflect. There's a bit of damage, but Davin will be the one to claim the kill onto Valu in the end. Now, there's a fight kicking off in the lower areas of Dumbani. A bit of the basement level between Cruz and Linkser. And Linkser is the man to come out on top.
Gigantti, it was a little bit bloody, and though unfixed had a valiant effort there towards the end, it's not enough to keep Gigantti out. 4 minutes and 43 seconds for them to cruise through second.
Here we're going to see the attack visor coming out to play from unfixed there. Get the double kill with it in the end, and quite good enough in the end, because Gigantti did manage to get the point regardless, but very well fought fight there by Gigantti, to be honest with them, to trade out evenly and come out on top.
This fight coming up now is going to be so important for both sides. Ultimates are relatively even, and Gigantti wants to make some momentum. eUnited wants to make space, both Morta going down early. This is a good opening for Gigantti.
Oh, Shark actually manages to get his primal rage off. Davin has to use a recall. I was about to fall and get a little bit of a tumble down into the lower streets of Dambani in the end. Still trying to find his one-for-one trade here. Valu will end up falling with the beatdown of Davin, and a well-fought fight by Gigantti, and Linksa still has his Dragon Blade.
eUnited didn't waste a lot of time in engaging that because they want to give themselves two opportunities here in Streets, but it also wasn't a very good engagement as a result. The only upside for them here is that they do have more in the tank and their ultimate power going to this next fight, and now we'll see if Boombox and Cruz can make that connection that we've been waiting for so long. You have to think that a Dragon Blade Transcendence is on the menu.
Look at this setup here by Zappis, tries to get it, doesn't quite time it correctly, just bounces off the hanging signs in the end still. Dragon Blade now is by Cruz, picks up Shaz. Can he find a follow-up? The reset is called. Gigantti want nothing to do with this fight at all.
I don't think Cruz is happy with that there.
No.
He used the blade while Gigantti was resetting anyways. That's why you see him just spinning his camera in circles. He knows that he could have saved it. Unfortunately for Cruz, that blade is now gone. And for eUnited, they're going to have to be good listeners of Lucio in concert because they must play well around the sound barrier going into the next fight.
Linksa is the man to watch. He gets two beautiful shurikens there, right into the cranium of Cruz, forces him right back. Now he's moving into Swift Strike into Boombox with the Discord on him, did not stand a chance. Now we're seeing the Soundbire trying to prevail in this fight alongside him. United trying to defend this one out. CP, but the Dragon Blade from Linksa far too prevalent, far too strong, as he's finding 3 kills apiece.
Lots of power behind that blade, cutting through eUnited like they were some form of soft butter. And what we see here from Gigantti is that they will be getting the second, and they have plenty of time to get into last. And what really set that up there, Bren, was that early pickoff before the sound barrier even came into play. Boombox taken down early.
Fantastic by Gigantti all around, and this is looking wonderful for them. They've got the Primal Rage, they've got the Transcendence to use, including the Soundbite that's just cut online for Big Goose. You see the Pulse Bomb being used. The Transcendence trying to hold this one out, CP, for the time being. Swift Strike by Linksa will get the kill onto Morte, but is it going to be enough?
It's certainly going to be enough. Gigantti not losing a single person here, applying the pressure in style as Linksa will not be contained. Davin also rolling around with him as it is a clean sweep for Gigantti. eUnited down to what could be their final fight against a freight train operated by the Finns.
Look at this time as well, 3 minutes. You know, we do talk about Nambani, the last point being a particularly hard egg to crack, but this is actually crazy timing by Gigantti. Nobody was expecting this from them. Nobody's expecting them to perform this well. Zappis holding onto the self-destruct. Primal Rage used by the side of Fragment to try and prolong this one out.
And Zappis right now might be looking for that fireworks show. He's under pressure, holding on to it right now. Tense between both teams. Not a strong initiation yet, but Sharik to the back finds Shaz. Now 5-on-5 as eUnited does pierce on through, and they derail the Gigantti train.
A much-needed fight there by eUnited, and as a result of it, didn't use many ults, if any at all. Now they've built up a nice little bank to work with. Team Gigantti, however, have the time. They've got 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Definitely enough for at least potentially 4 pushes in the end. But we'll see if they manage to rotate around. Right now, the game plan for Gigantti is probably going to be trying to bait out as many ults as possible from eUnited.
There's no doubt about it, where eUnited, they are working with a stash of ultimates right now, but Gigantti, they open up with a bang. Here comes the self-destruct over the top.
Did not quite get the look, not quite get the kills they were looking for in the end. Alitaja, the Pulse Bomb will get the D-Mech down to Zappis, and again, that should instantly be a fight that Gigantti do not want to fight at all.
No, and Gigantti, they know that this fight is pretty much done. They are, though, they punish Cruz. They knew Cruz was a little bit too far out. Now, this changes the equation a little bit. They were in and around this backside. They were ninjaing the payload up just a little bit, but eUnited finally will be flushing them out of their territory.
Did succeed in getting them to use a few ultimates, but I mean, at the end of the day, a Primal Rage and a Pulse Bomb was not really the ultimate goal. Gigantti just wanted, I guess, support ults. That would have been the real, the great treasure they were looking for in the follow-up fights there. Fortunately, didn't quite get them, so right now it's going to take them a superior team fight with better ultimate usage to win this one out.
And now Gigantti, they're moving in. They feel this is their opportunity. Cruz, though, in the back line, his blade could ruin everything. Shriek down early on. This might force out the Transcends with eUnited. They open up the self-destruct and cruise. Patient as always. Blade into the back room, looking to splatter whoever's in here, but he's getting popped around. Still finds Shaz though, as eUnited. Have they done enough? It's unclear as Linkser and Fraggy turn the tides.
The kills are flowing in right now for Gigantti. Valentine does get a crucial D-Mech, but Big Juice follows it up with one of his own. Now Valu still in the backlines, causing a bit of havoc, but there's so many members of Gigantti alive. The cart has to be pushed only a tiny amount. Sharek tries to stall it out for as long as he possibly can, but he will eventually fall to the strong arm of Davin. Is this going to be enough CP? It's the final moments, do or die time.
eUnited rolling right out of their spawn room here, but they are rolling into a blunder, piloted by Davin. Getting the kills he needs here early on. eUnited trying to get back out, and suddenly emergency Doomfist out here from Gigantti. This could catch eUnited off guard. We are down to the final 10 seconds, and Linkser goes in.
This is it. He's looking for the opportunity, looking for the one-shot potential from them, trying to find the kills. Self-destruct comes out from Zappis to try and push them off the point. It's so close. Linkser putting in the work. The seismic slam comes down. Davin now moving in as well. He's got the pulse bomb. Is he going to unleash it? I don't think it even needs it, as the kills are flowing in regardless for them, ZP.
Gigantti pushing eUnited to the brink. They drop the beat. They uppercut Valtaya to the sky.
Unreal.
And Gigantti has taken eUnited's candy on their own map 2-0 in favor of Gigantti. Wow.
Speechless is what I am right now, because I was not expecting that at all. Team Gigantti bringing the pain to eUnited using dive composition, something that traditionally they haven't been strong with. They haven't been particularly good with in the past, but clearly they've been practicing in the shadows, you know? This is the dark horse team. They're bringing it to eUnited here.
No doubt about it. And of course, Linkser, a big part of that here, a flexible player, a versatile player, but in the end,